I died, choking on my own screams, the noose of my father's lies tightening around my neck as the pills dissolved on my tongue. Betrayal tasted like rust and regret. My parents' faces blurring into monsters through the haze of overdose, faces I'd trusted with my soul. But death wasn't the end. It was a goddamn reset button, slamming me back into my 25-year-old body, heart pounding in a Seattle coffee shop 3 years earlier. The scent of fresh espresso hitting me like a slap from the grave. The first thing I noticed was the weight of the silver bracelet on my wrist, Grandma's heirloom. The one they'd pawned after I was gone. My hands trembled as I gripped the steaming latte, the barista's cheerful enjoy echoing like a cruel joke. Holy shit. I was alive. Really alive. Not some fever dream or afterlife bullshit. The date on my phone, March 15th, 2022. 3 years before the night they framed me for their theft, whispering poison into Clara's ear until she turned on me like a knife in the ribs. My sister, my only ally, reduced to their puppet. And me, the fall guy, the troubled daughter who couldn't handle the pressure, popping enough fentanyl-laced Xanax to end it all in our family home's guest bathroom. Accidental overdose. The coroner called it. Suicide by despair. But I knew the truth. They'd stolen $400,000 from Grandma's trust, siphoned it into their failing real estate schemes. And when the auditors came sniffing, they pinned it on me, forged emails, planted bank statements. The works. Evelyn's been spiraling. Mom had sobbed to the cops, her crocodile tears as convincing as her PDA smile. I bolted from the shop, rain slicking the sidewalks of Capitol Hill, my boots splashing through puddles that mirrored the storm raging inside.
How?
Why me? Grandma's voice echoed in my skull. Her last words before the cancer took her. Blood's thicker than water.
Evie?
But it spills easiest. She'd left everything to us grandkids, Clara and me, in a trust to keep our deadbeat parents' paws off. Ironclad, she'd bragged, with a notary who hated Dad's golf buddies. But they'd cracked it somehow, with a crooked lawyer and a fake beneficiary form.
And now,
here I was, handed a second chance on a silver platter. Revenge wasn't just an option, it was oxygen. I'd choke on nothing this time. They'd pay every cent, every lie, every shattered piece of my soul. But first, survival. I couldn't tip my hand. Not yet. Clara was still in college, buried in art history books at UW, oblivious to the vipers nesting in our family nest. Mom and Dad, Linda and Richard Harper, were playing the perfect couple in their overmortgaged Queen and Victorian, hosting wine tastings for tech bros while the foundation cracked under their debt. I had to act normal. Smile at their calls, laugh at their jokes, all while plotting the autopsy of their empire. Step 1. Dig up the dirt. I'd start with Grandma's old lawyer, the one who'd warned her about Dad's entrepreneurial spirit. If I could get proof of the forgery before they even attempted it, I could stop the heist in its tracks, or better, turn it against them. That night, I lay in my cramped apartment bed, staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin, the city's hum filtering through the fire escape. Sleep wouldn't come. Memories clawed at me like addicts at a vein. The funeral, where Mom had clutched my arm too tight, whispering, "We have to stick together now."
Evie.
For Clara. Stick together? They'd isolated me. Fed Clara stories of my jealousy over Grandma's favoritism, until she confronted me with tears and accusations. You stole from her trust? How could you? I denied it, begged her to see reason. But the seed was planted. They watched from the shadows, sipping scotch, as we tore each other apart. Then the accidental discovery of my embezzlement, emails I'd supposedly sent to the bank, authorizing transfers. My savings drained to cover fees. The notes they planted in my journal. I can't let them take it all. It was theater. Oscar-worthy. Ending with me alone in that bathroom. The world closing in. Fuck them. I'd rewrite the script. The next morning, I called in sick to my barista gig, some bullshit about food poisoning, and drove Grandma's old Subaru to the ferry terminal. The Puget Sound a gray mirror to my mood. Across the water to Bainbridge Island, where Harold Voss, her estate attorney, had his dusty office above a bookstore. Harold was a relic, tweed jackets,
Pipe smoke.
and a Rolodex thicker than the Bible. In my first life, I'd met him too late, after the theft, when he was already retired and bitter. This time, I'd butter him up. Evelyn Harper, Margaret's granddaughter, his bushy brows shot up as he ushered me in, the room smelling of leather-bound ledgers and regret. To what do I owe the pleasure? Everything all right with the trust distributions. I forced a smile, the kind that crinkled my eyes just right, Grandma's trick for disarming skeptics. Actually, Harold, it's about Dad. Richard.
He's been
Talking big about investments. Mom mentioned something about accessing funds early for family needs. I just want to make sure everything's locked down. Clara and I were counting on that money for stability. You know, he leaned back, puffing his pipe, eyes narrowing like a hawk spotting a mouse.
Ah.
The perennial Richard. Your grandmother was explicit. The trust vests at 30. No early withdrawals without unanimous beneficiary consent. And she named me executor to prevent exactly that. Entrepreneurial misadventures, she called them. He chuckled, but it died quick. Why the concern now? Distributions don't start for years. I leaned in, voice dropping to a conspiratorial hush. Call it a gut feeling. Grandma always said trust your instincts.
right and
Well, there's this. I slid a printout across his desk, a fabricated email I'd whipped up on my laptop that morning, from Dad to a shady real estate contact, mentioning leveraging the family asset. It was a Hail Mary.
but in my old life.
I'd seen the real ones. This was close enough to rattle him. Harold's face darkened, pipe forgotten. This is alarming. If Richard's even thinking of approaching the bank. He trailed off, rifling through a drawer for his phone. I'll audit the setup today. Triple-check the signatures. And Evelyn, if anything smells off, you call me. Day or night. Margaret trusted you girls for a reason. As I left, the fairy horn blared like a war cry. One thread pulled. But revenge wasn't a solo act. I needed allies.
Clara. God.
Reaching out to her now felt like defusing a bomb blindfolded. In the before, we'd been thick as thieves, sisters against the world, trading secrets over late-night pizza in her dorm. But their poison had festered slow. This time, I'd inoculate her first. I texted her from the deck, wind whipping my hair. Hey sis. Craving foe. Ditch class and meet me in Fremont? Got family tea to spill, nothing bad. Promise. Love you. Her reply pinged back fast. OMG yes. 5 p.m.? Spill what? Intrigued AF. Fremont was our neutral ground, hipster haven with breweries and street art. Far from Mom's judgmental eye. I arrived early, staking out a corner booth at Anid Aviat, nursing a jasmine tea while sketching plans on a napkin, monitor parents' accounts. I'd hack if I had to, thank you. Reddit tutorials. Befriend the crooked lawyer, one Victor Lang, per my hazy memories, and plant doubts without alerting the nest. Clara burst in like a whirlwind, her blonde bob swinging, backpack slung low. Evie, you look intense. What's the tea? Boy drama? Work suckage? I hugged her tight, inhaling her vanilla shampoo scent, innocence I had to shield.
Worse.
Family.
Sit.
Over steaming bowls. I wove the tale careful like, remember how Grandma harped on that trust? I overheard Mom and Dad last week talking about liquidating assets for some flip in Ballard. Sounded shady. What if they're eyeing it? We gotta watch our backs. Her spoon clattered.
No way.
They're broke. Yeah. But stealing from us? That's nuclear. Doubt flickered. But so did fire, our shared Harper grit. What do we do? Nothing rash.
Just
Keep eyes open. Share any weird convos? And hey, let's sync calendars, weekly check-ins. Sisters stick. Right? She grinned, clinking her glass to mine. Hell yeah. Blood packed. As we laughed, plotting like kids again, a shadow crossed my mind. This was the easy part. The real storm brewed back home, where Mom was probably baking lemon bars to mask the rot, and Dad schmoozing lenders with his salesman charm. They were schemers. All right, Dad with his pyramid scheme vibes, Mom the enabler, all Southern Belle smiles hiding steel traps. In the before, I'd confronted them post-theft. Voice shaking. How could you? Dad's response? For the family.
Evie.
You were always too soft.
Soft.
That word haunted me. Fuel now. By week's end, I'd installed spyware on the family router, clumsy code from a dark web forum. But it worked. Pinging alerts to my phone. First hit. Dad emailing Victor Lang. Amending beneficiary urgent. Bingo. Victor was the key, a sleazy Bellevue attorney with a yacht habit and ethics like wet paper. Time to meet the devil. I posed as a prospective client for a consult on estate planning, dropping into his glass tower office with a forged portfolio. Mr. Lang? Evelyn Harper. My folks recommended you, Richard and Linda. Said you're a wizard with trusts. His eyes lit like a shark's. Handshake lingering. Harper?
Ah.
Yes, Richard's girl. What can I do for you? Grandma left me a tidy sum. Want to protect it from overzealous relatives. I batted lashes, playing the ditzy heiress. Any tips on spotting funny business? He chuckled, leaning in. Always the family. Listen, between us, your dad's mentioned opportunities. But safeguards? Ironclad POAs. That's the ticket. He slid a card. Call anytime. Hook set. As I drove back, rain lashing the windshield, I felt the noose loosen. But doubt gnawed. Was I becoming them? Scheming in shadows. Lies as currency? Grandma's bracelet burned on my wrist, a reminder.
No.
This was justice. They'd made me a ghost. I'd haunt them proper. 2 months in, and the cracks were spiderwebbing. Dad's emails to Lang escalated, blueprints for a supplemental agreement, code for forgery. I'd screenshot everything, building a digital fortress on an encrypted drive hidden in my cloud. Clara was my rock. Our weekly faux sessions evolving into war councils. Mom asked about your mood swings today, she texted, followed by eye roll emojis. Told her you're thriving. What's next? Next was riskier, tailing Dad. He thought he was slick, slipping out for client meetings that smelled like bourbon and desperation. One Tuesday, I followed his BMW from the office, a failing brokerage in Pioneer Square, to a dingy bar in Soto. The kind with neon flickering like bad omens. Parked across the street, hood up against the drizzle, I watched him slide into a booth with Lang, their heads bent over folders. Lip reading was shit through fogged glass. But body language screamed conspiracy. Dad's urgent gestures. Lang's oily nods. My phone buzzed. Clara. Dinner at home tonight? Mom's making lasagna. Trap. I typed back. Go. I'll crash later. Ears open. She was a natural. Reporting back in whispers from her room. Dad's hyped about a big score. Mentioned Grandma's legacy. Weird vibe. And Mom? She's popping wine like candy. Something's brewing. Brewing into a boil. That night, I showed up fashionably late, arms laden with thrift store wine, found this gem at the market, and played the dutiful daughter. Dinner was a minefield. Dad's booming laughs over real estate war stories. Mom's probing glances at my untouched plate. You look tired.
Evie.
Everything okay at the shop? Peachy.
Mom.
Just the grind. I forked lasagna. The cheese stringy, like their lies. Under the table, my foot nudged Clara's, a silent stay frosty. Post-meal, as they cleared plates, Dad cornered me by the sink. Heard her seeing that lawyer fella, Lang? Smart move.
Kiddo.
Protecting your future. Ice in my veins. How'd he know? My consult was anonymous. Word travels. But yeah, future-proofing. Like you taught me. His grin was wolfish. That's my girl. Family first. Always. He clapped my shoulder, grip too tight, before vanishing to his study. Clara and I bailed to the porch swing, stars punching through clouds. He's onto something, she murmured, blanket wrapped. I snooped his browser, searches for trust fund loopholes and quiet settlements.
Evie.
This is bad. Worse than you know. The word slipped, and her eyes widened. I hesitated. Full truth now?
No. Not yet.
Look, if shit hits, we lawyer up. Harold's our guy. She nodded.
Fierce.
Promise me, no secrets. We're in this. Promise. But secrets were my currency. That week, I escalated. Anonymous tip to the state bar about Lang's ethical lapses, complete with forged complaints from disgruntled clients.
Petty?
Maybe. Effective? His assistant called Dad the next day. Rescheduling, buying me time. Meanwhile, Mom's cracks showed. Snide calls about my ungrateful phase, hints at helping Clara more to sow discord. Classic divide and conquer. In the before, it had worked like clockwork. Clara had withdrawn, accusing me of hoarding Grandma's love. This time, I'd flipped the board. Controversy hit when I decided to seduce the truth, literally. Lang's card burned a hole in my wallet. I called. Voice husky. Victor? Evelyn. Drinks? I need advice. Off the books. He bit hard, suggesting the pink door in Post Alley, all twinkle lights and Italian whispers. I showed in a slinky black dress, borrowed from Clara, who thought it was a date with a bar regular. Be safe, she'd said. Safe? This was war. Lang was 3 scotches and tie loose, eyes hungry. Evelyn. You clean up nice. Flattery gets you everywhere. Over tiramisu. I steered. Dad's gung-ho on this trust tweak. Says you're the man.
But
Risks? I mean, forging ahead without full buy-in. He choked on his espresso, dabbing his mouth. Tweak? It's all above board beneficiary updates. Standard stuff. Sweat beaded his brow. Liar.
right.
Because if it wasn't, I trailed a finger down his arm, leaning close. I'd hate to see reputations ruined. His laugh was forced. You're sharp, Harper. Like your grandma.
Then,
Buzzed and bold. Tell you what, your old man's got a plan. Supplemental POA. Slips in a liquidity clause. Clean as a whistle. But hush, family drama. Yeah, jackpot. I feigned swoon, letting him walk me out, his hand on my waist. In the cab home, I deleted his number.
bilirsin.
Was this me now? Using my body as bait? Grandma would have slapped sense into me. But hell, it worked. Recording app on. Every word gold. The fallout brewed fast. Dad's next meeting with Lang went south, cancelled, then rescheduled in panic. Mom called me hysterical. Richard's furious. Says someone's sabotaging him. Evie, if you know anything. Me?
Mom,
I'm just trying to live. Pause for effect. But if Dad's in over his head, maybe it's karma. Silence. Then click. The pit had begun. Clara sensed the shift, cornering me at our next meetup in Gasworks Park. Kites whipping overhead like frantic thoughts. Evie's lying to me, she blurted. About what? I broke then. The weight crushing. Over lukewarm coffee from a thermos. I spilled, not the death, not the rebirth, but the bones. They're stealing from us.
Clara. The trust.
I have proof. Emails. Meetings. They're pitting us, like always. But I'm fighting back. Her face crumpled, shock. Then rage. Bastards. Why us? Grandma trusted them, because we're easy marks. Soft. Remember? I echoed Dad's old barb, twisting it. But not anymore. You in. She crushed the cup, coffee spilling like blood. All in. But Evie. This could destroy them. Us. Good. Destruction's the point. As summer bled into fall, tension coiled like a spring. I quit the coffee shop, taking a freelance gig writing clickbait for a local blog cover for my real work, compiling the dossier. Harold got wind. Calling late one night. Evelyn.
Eva flagged irregularities.
Signatures on file don't match recent inquiries. Your father's pushing hard. Keep digging. And Harold? If it comes to it, I want to press charges. His pause was heavy. Margaret would be proud. But be careful, these snakes bite. Bites? They devoured me once. This time, I'd skin them alive. The controversial call came unbidden. Frame them back? Plant evidence mirroring theirs? No, too low. But temptation whispered. Instead, I leaked snippets to a PI I'd hired on credit, ex-cop named Ruiz. Grizzled and greedy. Dig into Richard Harper's finances, I told him over burner phone. Off-books loans. Shell companies. Discreet. Kostya. Doll. Worth every penny. Ruiz delivered. Dad's Ponzi light with church friends. Mom's boutique affront for laundering. But the gem? A hidden affair, Dad and Lang's assistant. Payoffs in crypto. Leverage. Clara and I prepped the ambush, Holiday dinner. Thanksgiving. Mom's turkey throne, where facades cracked under cranberry sauce. I'd serve the truth, carved cold. But life, or fate, threw curveballs. A week out, Clara confessed over tears. Evie, I found Mom's journal. She's sick, cancer. Like Grandma. Stage 3. That's why the money grab. Medical bills. My world tilted.
Sick?
In the before, no mention. Had they hidden it deeper? Or was this the twist? Mercy's cruel joke? Rage warred with pity. Doesn't excuse theft. Or pitting us. I know.
But
Do we destroy them? The decision nod. Controversial? Hell yes, revenge with a side of compassion. Or was it weakness? I stared at Grandma's photo. Her eyes stern. Justice?
Evie.
Not vengeance. Thanksgiving dawned gray. The Victorian groaning under forced cheer. Clara and I arrived armored, me with the dossier in my bag. Her with resolve like rebar. Dad carved turkey with flair. Mom's smile brittle. Hollows under her eyes from chemo she concealed. To family, Dad toasted, glass raised. Lies dripped like gravy. I clinked, then set mine down. Speaking of, let's talk trust. The one Grandma left us. Forks paused. Mom's color drained. Evie, not now. Now's perfect. I slid printouts across the damask cloth, emails, forgeries, Lang's confessions transcribed. Stole $400,000. Framed me in your heads. Pitted Clara and me like pawns. For what? Your schemes? Dad's face purpled. Lies. Where do you get this garbage? Truth hurts. Huh. Clara's voice cracked, but held. We know, Dad. All of it. Mom sobbed, collapsing into her chair. We were desperate. The bills. I didn't want to burden you girls. Burden? You stole our future. My scream echoed. Plates rattling. The room spun, flash of the bathroom. Pills scattering.
No.
Not again. Dad lunged, snatching papers. You'll regret this. Evelyn. Blood's thicker. Then thieves. I snatched back. Ruiz's report spilling. Affairs. Laundering. Or dirtier? Chaos erupted. Yells. Tears. Dad storming out. Keys jingling. Mom begged. Please. Evie. For Clara. Clara stood. Eyes steel. No more games. We're done. As sirens wailed distant, my anonymous call to cops en route, the house emptied of illusions. But in the wreckage, a seed, Mom's hand on mine. Whisper, forgive. Someday? Forgiveness? Not yet. Justice first. Winter clamped Seattle in iron. Fog rolling off the sound like ghosts unwilling to rest. Post-Thanksgiving. The fallout was biblical. Dad arrested for fraud. Ruiz's PI work greased the wheels, leading feds to his shell accounts. Mom entered hospice. Chemo a lost cause. Her Victorian sold to cover liens. Clara and I, we salvaged the trust. Harold's audits recovered most. Vesting early under extenuating circumstances. But victory tasted like ash. I'd saved us. Avenged the dead me. Yet the hollow echoed. Clara crashed in my apartment. Our sister bond reforged in fire. Nights blurred into therapy sessions, hers for the betrayal whiplash. Mine a secret vigil against unraveling. How do you know so much? She'd probe, curled on the couch with chamomile. Like you saw it coming.
Grandma's ghost. Egg. Dodging.
Truth was heavier, my death replayed in dreams. The overdose a loop of betrayal sting. Waking sweat-soaked. I'd check her breathing, proof we lived. Dad's trial loomed. January in federal court downtown. I testified. Voice steady under fluorescent glare. He forged documents. Isolated us. For greed. Jurors nodded. Faces masks of middle-class outrage. Lang flipped first. Plea deal spilling guts. $400K siphoned. Yes. But more. Embezzlement from clients. A trail back a decade. Dad's empire?
Dust.
Clara watched from the gallery. Hands squeezing mine during recesses. Proud of you, she'd murmur. But pride cracked under controversy. Reporters swarmed, Seattle Times splash. Family trust torn asunder. Siblings expose parents' greed. We became cautionary tales. Trolls online dubbing me Ice Queen Evelyn, Clara the turncoat. Death threats ping my inbox, Dad's golf buddies. Loyal to delusion. The real gut punch? Mom's decline. We visited weekly. Her room a sterile cage in Swedish medical. Machines beeping dirges. First time. She clutched my hand. Dripped and frail. I was wrong.
Evie. Protecting you.
Twisted me. Twisted us all. Bitterness leaked. But I stayed. Controversial choice. Mercy visits amid revenge. Clara pushed. She's dying. Let her go clean.
Clean?
No such thing. But as snow dusted the windows. Stories spilled, Mom's youth. Trapped in Dad's charm. Her own dreams pawned for his schemes. I enabled it. For love.
Love.
The word soured. Yet humanized the monster. Dad's sentencing hit Valentine's, ironic. Hearts and handcuffs.
10 years.
White-collar wing at SeaTac. He glared from the dock. You destroyed us. Evelyn. For what? Money. For survival. My retort echoed. Final as gavel bang. Outside. Rain lashed. Clara hugging me fierce. It's over.
Was it?
Twist lurked in shadows. Ruiz called post-verdict. One more thread. Harper. Your grandma's will. Addendum. Hidden clause. My blood iced.
What?
Drove to her house today. Notary slip. If beneficiaries act against family unity, funds revert. To charity. She suspected Richard. Built in a failsafe. Clara's face when I told her. Devastation. We fought for nothing? It all.
Gone.
Not gone. Redirected. But rage boiled. Grandma's paranoia. Or foresight. We'd expose the rot. But at what cost? Trust dissolved to animal shelter endowments. Our futures gutted anew. Controversy peaked. Leak the addendum? Fight it in court. Paint ourselves victims again? Or accept, let karma's will turn full. I chose the abyss. Public statement to the press. Outside court. My parents stole our inheritance. But in fighting back, we honored Grandma's true wish, protect the innocent. Even from ourselves. Headlines flipped. Harper sisters sacrifice, from victims to heroes. Donations poured, GoFundMe for our resilience fund. Strangers' kindness. A balm on wounds. But tension simmered. Dad's letters from prison. See what you've done? United in ruin. Mom's last breath. March equinox. Whispering, proud. Girls. She passed holding our hands. Peace fragile as tissue. Clara, and I scattered ashes at golden gardens, waves lapping like absolution. What now? She asked. Wind tousled.
Live.
No more ghosts. Yet mine lingered. Rebirth's gift soured, knowledge a curse. Second chances laced with loss. I'd avenged, but the mirror showed scars, cynic where trust bloomed, schemer where innocence played. Spring thawed the city, cherry blossoms mocking renewal. I started therapy for real, Dr. Patel. No bullshit shrink with a mariner's mug. Revenge fulfilled, she'd ask. Emptied. Sessions unearthed the buried. Not just theft, but Grandma's secret, her own regrets. A youthful affair with Dad's father. Bloodline tainted from the root. Cycles, Patel said. Break M. Clara thrived, art gallery internship, boyfriend with tattoos and tenderness. You're my hero, she'd say. But heroes bleed. The climax crested unexpectedly. Dad's appeal. Summer scorcher. New evidence, Lang's perjury claim. Alleging coercion. Courtroom redux. But this time, I walked in armed with truth's blade. Objection. My lawyer, Harold, retired but fierce, slammed files. Appellant's own recordings. I'd held back the ace. Dad's jailhouse calls to cronies. Boasting evil crack. Always does. Judge's gavel. Denied. Dad's glare final nail. As marshals led him, he spat. Monster.
No.
Survivor. Outside, Clara waited. Ice cream cones melting in heat. Free? Finally. But freedom's illusion shattered that night. Anonymous email. You think it's over? Check the attic. The Victorian sold. But keys lingered with a neighbor, nosy Mrs. Ellis. Flashlight in hand. I climbed creaky stairs. Dust motes dancing like accusations. Box labeled Evie, do not open. Heart hammering. I pried. Letters. Yellowed. Grandma to me. Unborn. If they come for it, fight dirty. Blood betrays.
Deeper. Photo. Me.
Toddler. With a man, not dad. No clipped. Your real father. He left to protect you from Richard's jealousy. Twist gutted me. Grandma's secret, the affair. Not with Dad's dad, but a lover who'd fled threats. Richard? Stepfather. The theft? Not just greed, but erasure, erasing my claim. I burned it all in the backyard fire pit. Flames devouring lies. No more cycles. Clara never needed know. Some ghosts stay buried. Word count, 1012. File 4. Echoes of Reckoning. Fall painted Seattle gold. Leaves crunching underfoot like brittle bones of the past. With Dad caged. Mom's ashes scattered. And the trust's remnants funneled to strays. Clara and I rebuilt from rubble. She graduated UW with honors. Her thesis on fractured legacies, art mirroring life. I pivoted careers, channeling fury into investigative journalism for a alt weekly, pen as sword. Harper Sisters Saga series went viral. Podcasts begging interviews. Controversy clung like fog. Feminists hailed our empowerment. Conservatives decried family demolition. I leaned in. Tweet sharp. Betrayal isn't heritage. It's a choice. But nights alone. The rebirth haunted. Why me? Cosmic joke. Or grandma's hand from beyond. Dreams shifted, no more bathrooms. But boardrooms, me. CEO of a nonprofit for embezzlement victims. Exposing crooks. Ambition.
Reborn.
Clara met Theo at a gallery opening, tall, bearded sculptor with a laugh like thunder. He gets it, she confided over brunch at Le Panier. Croissants flaking.
The mess.
Doesn't run. Good. You deserve solid. Envy flickered, my dates fizzled. Trust a casualty. One guy, tech bro named Jake. Push too fast. Your story's intense. Hot. Even. I ghosted. Echoes of Lang's Lear. Thanksgiving Redux. Year 2, just us. Turkey thawed from Trader Joe's. Wine cheap but flowing. No toast to ghosts. To us, Clara raised glass. Theo nodding. Unbreakable. Laughter came easy. Stories light. Theo's botched vasectomy tales. Clara's paint-splattered disasters. But undercurrent tugged. Dad's parole hearing. December. Early release for good behavior. After 10 months, we prepped testimony. Voices united. No. The damage lingers. Hearing room sterile. Dad shackled but suited. Eyes hollowed. Girls, he rasped. I've changed. Therapy. Regret. Regret. The word mocked. My turn. Regret doesn't repay stolen years. Or the sister you pitted against me. Clara followed. You broke us. Live with it.
Denied.
As we left, his whisper trailed. Evelyn. The letters. I know you found them.
Chills spidered. How?
The attic, he'd known. Or guess my digging. In the lobby. Clara oblivious. I cornered the guard. Extra watch on Harper. He's stirring shit. Paranoia? Maybe. But rebirth sharpened instincts. That week, Ruiz resurfaced. Gruff over coffee. Your stepdad's pen pals?
Shady.
Inmate chatter about unfinished business. Watch your 6. Business. The final twist uncoiled slow. Mom's hospice locker. Unclaimed. Clara and I cleared it clothes. Jewelry. A lockbox. Inside, USB drive. Trembling, I plugged in videos.
Dad.
Ranting to Mom pre-arrest. Evelyn's the weak link. Always was. If she pushes, we take her down like before. Before? My death. They'd planned it, the frame. The pills planted in my bathroom. A nudge toward the edge. Not accident. Assisted. Manslaughter masked as suicide. Rage volcanic. Clara watched the file. Face ashen.
They.
Murdered you? In your head?
Worse.
Planned. Tears hot. But resolve steel. We end this. Controversial apex, no court. Statute cold on old crimes. Instead, exposure. I wrote the piece. The untold Harper horror, from theft to homicide plot, dropped anonymously to the stranger. With drive as proof. Front page firestorm. Appeals for Dad's case reopened. Feds probing new evidence of intent. Clara wavered. Is this mercy? Or more ruin? Mercy for the girl I was. We watched from a bar. TV's blaring pundits. Chilling. Harper's a monster. Dad's sentence upped. 15.
No parole.
Letters ceased. Justice. Belated. Spring bloomed. Clara's wedding whispers with Theo. I stood maid of honor. Dress lavender. Vows exchanging under cherry arches. You saved me, she whispered post-ceremony. Bouquet crushing. Twice. Us. But as she danced, I slipped away to the bluff overlooking the sound. Grandma's bracelet glinting sunset. Rebirth's echo, not curse, but catalyst. I died innocent, risen avenger. Now,
Whole.
one last ghost, anonymous package. Summer solstice. No return, Dad's scrawl. Forgive, or rot like me. Burned it. Ashes to wind. Years blurred, Clara's kids, twins. Evie and Claire, toddling chaos. My byline national. Book deal on betrayals blueprint. Therapy morphed to mentorship. Guiding survivors. Cycles break with choice. Clara asked once, kids napping. Ever feel haunted? Only by the living. Smile genuine. Weed one, not happy ending fairy tale, but scarred triumph. American as apple pie and pitchforks. Messy. Fierce. Unyielding. In quiet moments, I thank the void for the reset. For the fight. Blood may betray.
But will?
That's the real trust. And in the end, as rain patters eternal, I live not for revenge, but reclamation. The girl who choked on lies?
Buried.
Evelyn Harper. Unbreakable? Risen.